Good morning guys and welcome back. So today's video is going to be about how I installed the marker lights in my grill. I got a request from a subscriber on how to do it, so I'm going to run you all through it. The link of all the products is in the description below, and I'm going to walk you through the process of how I personally installed them. Now, I didn't use any relays or anything like that. I know I'm probably going to get bashed for that, but like I say, this is just the way I did it. So as I mentioned earlier in the video, I'm going to show you how I installed these marker lights, and I'll drop the link in the description below. What we're going to need is some 3M double-sided tape, some heat shrink, some butt splicers, a knife, some strippers and crimpers ×2. Now, I just realized I forgot a couple of key pieces of equipment to this install. One of them, the install wouldn't happen at all without it, and that's the wire. Also, we're going to need some electrical tape. I'll use red, then I know it's hot wire. I'm so sorry, I'm really forgetful. We're going to need some sockets and a wrench too. First thing that you're going to need to do with every single one of these is I always like to test, and then I just want to make sure every single one of these works. So that one's good. That one's good. And that one's good. I'm going to grab my butt splice and I want to measure it up against my heat shrink. And I want my heat shrink to be bigger than my splice, so I'm going to leave a bit on each side. I'll probably just cut these in half, and then once these are sealed up, once I've made my connections, I can put the heat shrink on, shrink it all together, and then I'll just cover it in electrical tape. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my communication wire, that's what I'm using for this, and I'm going to cut off about 1 foot in length. That's the wire. Then I'm going to need to strip the wire because I'm going to splice onto these wires. So in this case, red to red, and I'm going to go black to white. So now I've got my wire. I'm going to slide on my heat shrink there. I'm going to do that on each side. We'll take our butt splice, push our wire in, and then I'm going to crimp this together. Pinch that together. Give it a little tug so I know it's not going to come out. And then I'm going to take my black wire, push that in there, and I'm going to do the exact same. And then all I have to do is slide my heat shrink over the top, and we'll apply a little heat to that. And then that's the first one done, and then we'll repeat that process for this one. A little heat. Awesome, there you go. So everything's sealed, number 1 done, and we're ready to just chain this up to number 2. Now I'm going to do the same thing with number 2. I'm just going to cut around the same length of wire. Okay, now for the second one, what you're going to need to do is you take your second light, and we're going to have to put the red from the new wire with the red from the light. And we'll put our butt splice on, then we're going to splice it this way. So it's going to be like this, and then that carries on the chain to our last connection. So the final part of installing this all together is the third light. The third one goes pretty much like the second one, apart from the last piece of wire that you're going to use is going to be about 4 feet long. Then, because this heart will go in with a fuse, I'll show you which one I used on my truck, and then this black is going to go to ground. So by the end of the install, you should have something along the lines looking like this. So just want to verify everything works. You can see all 3 of them are illuminated. Without connecting everything, I'm just going to lay my loom on top just to verify everything reaches where it needs to reach. So there you go, everything's just hanging out the front now, and I'm gonna have to check where the top is, and I'm gonna cut my double-sided tape just to the size of this, and then I stick my double-sided tape up in the top here. The middle one I don't need to do anything. Oh, sorry about the light. The middle one I don't need to do anything because it wedges in there nice and tight. Awesome. Okay. So there's the middle one. The middle one's where it needs to be. And like I say, I'm going to cut some tape now for these. So I like to cut my tape to the exact length. On that, then I'll get my knife. I can't do this, I don't have 3 hands. And I'll cut this off now and show you what it looks like. I'm probably going to double the tape up just because of this rubber lip. That's the backing seal. It's the waterproofing seal for the light. Alright, so we got the tape on there. Oh no, that's good. Oops. And then we'll do the same on the other side. Alright guys, we're now in the final stages. All we have to do is route our wires over to where everything's gonna go. I think last time I went in here behind, I'm pretty sure I went in here behind the light. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some more 3M tape and I'm gonna tidy up the wiring and I'm gonna stick it down under the grill. So now my wiring's neatly tucked away. I've got everything 3M taped up to the underside on the top. Just gonna remove my lid, and then this 15 amp fuse I'll pull, and then I'll put my red wire directly in there, and then that's directly connected to the power supply, so when the ignition comes on they turn on. I'm gonna loosen off, excuse me, the ground. There you go, so now the ground's on. Pull the little excess wire around. Pull my 15 amp fuse. Drop that in there. Drop my wire in. Push my fuse in. Hold everything back down, and then fingers crossed, turn on the ignition and these bad boys all fire up. That is the 3 marker light install. If you liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up and click that subscribe button. I do apologize, like I said before, I don't normally do this style of video, not this way, but it was a request from a subscriber, and hopefully I've explained things thoroughly enough that you can follow the instructions and do it for yourself. The install should probably take an hour to 2 hours, maybe less, depending on how mechanically inclined you are or electrically inclined you are. One thing I did forget to mention, if you do have any questions, please drop them in the comments below and I'll try and answer them best I can. Or just drop me a DM on Instagram, 805 Drive.